Hello and welcome, folks, to REDDOG.TV. This is Sting Red Dog here. Accompanying me today is my pal Nietzsche. How you doing, man?
Awesome, man. I'm doing really good.
Good, and we also have a guest co-host, Daigo from NX Esports. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic.
Great. Well, welcome to the show, guys. Today we have a special treat for you. We have an interview with Breakfast Club. If you got to catch the match last week, Breakfast Club played Damage Networks in a great match. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that and just getting to know these guys. So I have here today from Breakfast Club 3 members: Cat Cop, Derriere, and XTC. How you guys doing?
Good, thank you.
Living the dream.
I'm doing great.
So welcome, guys, again. And what I wanted to start off here was just a little bit of your guys' match history. So going back to the invitational qualifiers, you guys played some pretty good teams. Gra Handuri, which you guys won against 8-6. You also tied with Quaxi and Inversion. So into the Invitational Cup, you didn't do really well there, but you guys played some really tough teams. How was that? And I just want to know, I mean, you guys played Vetus, Mercury, and Nexel. Going into that, how was that for you guys, knowing that you had to play these strong teams right off the bat?
Those games, like we knew Mercury and Nexel were really strong, so we just went in treating these games, these matches, like scrims. Like, that's how we treat all of our matches, really. We just treat them as a chance to play together, as a team. The problem with those weekends, the invitational qualifiers and the invitational cup, was that it was hard to get our team together. Like, we couldn't even field 6 of our roster on any of those games. We had to use 2 ringers for each of them. And in fact, one of the games, we could only field 5, including the 2 ringers. So we only had 3 from our actual team.
Wow, and that's really tough. I mean, not only are you fighting short, but also you're fighting with mercs that kind of don't know your play style, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So moving into past the Invitational Cup, coming into Season 2, a very strong win in your first week against Damage Networks. But before we get to that, I wanted to just ask a couple general questions for the viewers about your team. So how long have you guys been playing together?
Well, I think that varies. I think I'm one of the newer members of the team. I started probably just about 6 weeks ago, right before the invitational tournament, and I think Derriere and everyone else has been going for a lot longer than me.
Well, I also joined right when the Invitational started, so after Season 1, I started playing.
Yeah, we weren't really a team until Cat Cop joined, because we had been looking for a commander until we found Cat Cop. So
Cat Cop.
I would say like 6 weeks, exactly what Cat Cop said. But we hadn't been able to scrim with a full roster until 2 weeks ago. I actually talked with the team because we always scrimmed with ringers, and I don't want to scrim with ringers. I want to scrim with our team's roster because we all have our certain tendencies. And we can play off that,
So, I mean, do you guys have like personalities among the group? You have, obviously Derriere, the leader, but do you have, other guys who are known as, the hard ass or the jokester or what have you?
I'd say Bill's the jokester, right? Bill would be the jokester. He keeps things really lighthearted for us. So, because I know I get pretty intense when I play.
How important is someone being a jokester and kind of, like you said, being lighthearted in a competitive match? How much does that help with, like, say, some of your more stressed guys?
All of our aim is better when we're positive. So that's really important that we keep a positive, there's no arguing, no talking about what we did wrong until afterwards. We keep it positive while we play so that all of us can perform well.
And, taking that into account and how you guys, interact with each other in different matches, just as an example, like if you guys would end up in a desert island, for instance, who would die first? Just as a fun question, though.
I would like to assume Bill.
Yeah, I was going to say Bill, too.
Well, Bill would die because he doesn't take it seriously, so he's going to think the whole island thing's an entire joke, and he'll probably mess up somewhere.
Classic.
Cool, guys. You've gone from pretty good as a team to one of the top contenders since the ENSL Invitational. We talked a little bit about some of the stuff you guys came up against on those weekends ahead of time. But what's been the biggest factor for you guys in improving your game since then? I mean, was your performance in the Invitational, a wake-up call of sorts?
Well, it was a wake-up call in the sense that we needed to scrim with actual six Breakfast Club players on a nightly basis. So after that, Derrier kind of set up, some scrim dates for the starting six to play.
I didn't really see it as a wake-up call because the way I see matches and these tournament games and whatever is just play NS2. I want to play NS2. I want to play competitive NS2. That's it. So I treat scrims and matches all the same. We didn't stress too much about doing awful those 2 weekends, but I also wanted to be able to play games with our roster, not some other team's roster. So that was about it. As far as going from pretty good to a top contender, I don't think we've ever been awful. Like, I think we've always been this good. We just never able to play with our player.
Also, our team has some very good talent on it, so we're kind of not used to each other yet. We haven't played together that much. It's only been a few weeks, but since our team has a lot of talent, we have a lot of potential going forward as we continue to scrim together and we continue to play with the same six people.
Well, that's actually perfect to go into some of the questions that Daigo from NX Esports has for you guys now that you have the team together and scrimming together and practicing together. So I'm going to turn the question table here to Daigo from NX Esports to ask a few more questions for you guys.
Well, thank you, Red Dog. I'd say that my first question would be, how do you guys prep before a match? I mean, and by that I mean, I don't know if you pet kittens, eat energy bars, have a super lunch, or do you go like, we'll bathe in their blood? Give me like a rundown on how is your mindset and what you guys do before a match.
I think mostly we all meet up in a combat server, like a private combat server, and just, shoot each other, bite each other for a bit, get used to that. Aside from that, I have some green tea, and that's about it for me.
Well, yeah, we start off in the combat map with 5 or 6 of us, and we usually just die to Breast Town over and over again, and, that kind of just psychs us up to play better.
To his welder?
His LMG doesn't have to weld us.
He rifle butts me now, so it's a little embarrassing.
Rifle butts all of us. Yeah, they're right. All we do is just play combat. I would like to get pre-match scrims if we have time for it, but most of the time we don't.
We also like to go over our strategies, obviously, before the match, but usually practice them throughout the week, so we just kind of remind everyone of what we're trying to do and our goals for each game.
So how often do you guys practice? I mean, obviously I fair to assume that you guys practice individually in your spare time, but how often do you do it as a team?
Right now we're practicing twice a week together, which isn't actually much compared with the other teams, but before that we were practicing 0 times together, so it's a huge improvement.
Are you seeing, because of that, are you seeing a lot of change in your communication and synergy?
Yeah, I think the more that we get to practice, the better we get at the strategies that we want to do, and the more we learn about the strategies that we want to counter. So in that regard, I do think we are getting better every time we practice.
And also, we use the same splits on Marine, so I usually play with Breasttown, and Durden usually plays with Derriere, so that kind of helps, getting used to playing with your teammate and positioning yourselves well together is really what it's about.
Cap, as the commander, you have that kind of top-down view of the whole field. Are you seeing from week to week, better timing, better coordinated pushes? Are you seeing the players responding better to your instructions as you give them?
Yeah, beyond just the players getting better with dealing with each other, one of the biggest challenges that I perceived coming in as a new commander to a competitive team was that I was not used to the strategies. As we continue to practice and as we continue to practice more, I just see a lot more synergy between me wanting to execute a strategy and the team being totally willing and be supportive of that strategy being executed. And then in that regard, the more we practice, just better we line up. I don't even know how to put it. The more synergy there is between us executing a strategy, it just seems to go better. And that's purely based on me getting used to the way that our players play, and both the players getting used to the way I think in that regard, practice helps a lot.
I just wanted to say, as far as team coordination goes, having our roster players playing makes a huge difference because Bill, our lurk, is a very good lurk. I personally think he's on par with Glissy. Having ringer lurks play is just, it's a world of difference. I can notice a huge difference playing with Bill and playing with any other lurk.
Now that you guys are increasing your team practice time together, like what do you have as objectives as a team, like immediate and long-term objectives?
The most important objective is really to have fun. I mean, we all play NS2 to have fun, and that's it. And I tell everybody on this team that. I say, if you're not having fun, or if you don't want to play any given day, you don't have to play. And that's kind of the reason why I only want to practice twice a week. If you're playing every single day, trying your hardest, scrimming with top teams, you kind of burn out. It's pretty taxing on you mentally. So the fact that we practice only twice a week helps us maintain the positivity. And again, that positivity helps us with our aim.
For a second there, XTC, I thought you were going to say your objective was to position yourself so that you could get recruited by another team and leave these suckers.
Whoa!
Well, he would never leave this team.
Yeah, Derriere thinks I'm on lock on Breakfast Club.
XTC on Nexel next week.
Stay on target.
Oh my goodness.